Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm with Jeremy Tapp, who's the joint MD of Homeflow, whose company actually run about 10% of the UK estate agents' websites. So what he doesn't know about websites isn't worth knowing. And also he runs Raw Digital, which does a lot of pay-per-click advertising for estate agents as well. Welcome, Jeremy, for this 10-minute little clipette of video. What I want to talk to you today about is how COVID is an open goal when it comes to Google advertising at pay-per-click. Talk to me. And welcome, by the way.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I think this came because we were chatting the other day, didn't it? And I sort of said to you that we'd seen with our benchmarking tool that agents had yanked all their advertising. I mean, during the pandemic, when people were trying to cut costs and go very carefully with their budgets, the very first thing they do is pull the advertising rather than lose staff. That's very understandable. But what it's done is it's meant that we were seeing around 25-30% of UK estate agents were doing PPC in one form or other. Lots just dipping their toes in, but they've all yanked it. I mean, not all of them, but the vast majority have pulled it. And that's understandable. But what it does, it means the price per click has just tanked.
Okay. Any idea of what it was costing before and what it's costing now?
I do, yes. I mean, PPC, if you're buying, it's very different if you're trying to buy applicant traffic from vendor traffic, but vendor traffic, if you're doing a tightly targeted campaign, nationally blended average, we get about £1.10 per click. That is changing over time, and it's dropped to 60p over the last 2 months. Now then, it's much cheaper than that if you're buying traffic rurally, and it's much more expensive than that if you're buying traffic in central London or urban areas generally, where there's more competition. And it's much more expensive if you're just solely focusing on very specific niches of high-end vendors. So it depends. But as a blended average, it's 40% off, 35 to 40% off.
That's not bad, especially when, let's be honest, is that listings are the lifeblood of a estate agency. Are there any other tips and guidance you've got for agents on what copy actually works better than or not works so well?
Yes, well, I mean, the main thing that we've found is agents have been pulling back on the volume of their spend, but using the same budget, they're getting a higher conversion rate. So they're getting the same lead flow off of it. It's just they've just taken it as an opportunity to save money, but drive the same lead flow. And it is partly about quality score because it's just dead important to get the quality score in your adverts high. And so that's tailoring all the individual adverts to have very specific keywords. But it's, I think, probably more to do with exact matching.
I mean, how much would you recommend people actually spend as agents? And I know that how long is a piece of string?
Wow, yes, it is a piece of string. Again, it's very variable depending on geography. So there's a thing called the efficient frontier, which is if you spend, the first £100 you spend per branch on PPC, as long as you're doing the campaign really well, it's very high return on investment because you're not forcing it very hard. But obviously, if you're a single branch independent and you start trying to squeeze £1,000 a month, £2,000 a month down PPC, it isn't going to work. There just isn't the market capacity for it. So you have to start buying keywords inefficiently, or you have to buy them out of area. It starts becoming lower quality score. And at some point, it becomes negative return. You're spending £1 and only getting 80p back. And that point for most agents, the average in the UK is about £600 per branch of Google ad spend. Now then, you've also got the... No, per month. You can get about £600 per month into Google, and it can still be profitable ROI if you're managing your campaign well. And what happens with the efficient frontier is if you manage a really tight ad campaign, if you do exact matching, if you turn the adverts off on Sundays, if you turn them off overnight, because Google will take the money and will put it into the pockets of the day in order to just maximize its ad take. I mean, it is trying to maximize your return as well. But if there's lots of people bidding, the people who do the stupider campaigns, the dumber campaigns, it'll use them in the corners. Whereas the people who target precisely and directly and only buy in the right part of the day and only buy the right terms, it'll have to put them, you can constrain it, you can make it spend your money way more efficient.
So are you saying that probably don't spend money on weekends and probably just during the day? Are they top tips?
Yeah, there's simple tips. It depends on your objective. I mean, it's still positive ROI at the weekend. So if your objective is maximum growth, it makes sense to be advertising nearly all the time. But if your objective is balancing growth with profitability of your ad spend, if you don't want to go spending £600 per branch per month, you only want to be doing £200 or £300 per branch per month on media spend. It's not the management fee, that's media spend. Then you're going to get maximum efficiency. You're not going to need to spend all the time, and then you should spend in the best returning parts of the day.
Okay. A lot of people suggest that you should really go heavy with the name of your town when it comes to PPC, but others say estate agents near me and let Google find a geographical location. What would your thoughts be on that?
Yeah, I would advocate. I mean, that's pretty much what Raw does. Is it does geo permutation bidding, so it will buy all the town and village names and postcodes. Because if you go to the effort of exploding your campaign into 1,000 little pieces, buying all the little pockets and controlling it, then you can buy what's called in the long tail. You buy it more efficiently and cheaper. It costs more effort to do, but it's highly leveraged because it's a lot cheaper. Because your competition is being lazy and isn't doing that. And
So
certainly, if you just throw it open to Google, if you just buy estate agent near me, Google take my money any time of day, any kind of just like without targeting the keywords to the terms, it'll just take your money.
So in English, estate agency, non-technical language, if I've got 20 villages, it might be worth me actually saying estate agents in village A and then estate agents in village B. Those sorts
Yes, exactly right. And sell my house and value my house and free house valuation. And, and indeed, if you're really going for it, all the longer tail terms, like, selling a thatched cottage, selling a flat, selling a student flat, you really, the more you can permutate and buy smaller pockets of terms and then aggregate them all together.
And would you put geographical names at the end of those, or would you put near me, or just
Yeah, definitely. Both of the above. So our campaigns will typically have a non-geo permutated segment to them, maybe 100 keywords in it, and then they'll have the key head terms permutated, multiplied by all the different town and village names, and then buy them all with exact matching, so that you're not being broad matched into the categories.
So basically, what you're saying, Jeremy, is it's a bit of an open goal at the moment because not so many people are paying for it, which means vendor leads are 40% cheaper. And you've kind of given us some top tips that someone who actually wants to do their own pay-per-click advertising. You've actually given all your secrets away. I just want to say on behalf of UK Estate Agency, thank you very much. Is there anything you want to say at the last minute?
It's a complete pleasure. What I would say is we'll audit. So no, it's true. I mean, and there's no magic to it. It's just a lot of effort. It's just like you could sell your own house, but then an estate agent is better at selling your own house than you will be, because we do it all day long. We do 30 campaigns for different agencies at all times, and so we just see all those nooks and crannies and steal those techniques. But you're quite right. We're delighted to help. And what I would say is we'll do free audits of people's accounts. We'll look at their accounts, and we like to give out advice, because hopefully what it means is people will improve what they're doing, and then ultimately, if they want some help, they might come and ask us.
Good stuff. How do people contact you, Jeremy?
Just on info@homeflow.co.uk, or just go to the Homeflow website and use the contact us forms.
Good stuff. Boys and girls, Jeremy's a fantastic person. Watch for his videos. He's chucking some interesting info out there. Jeremy, thank you for your time today. And just for everyone else, Jeremy and I, just before the lockdown, actually did some really in-depth interviews at Watkins Studios, at the Lad Studio on Watkins Sofa, and they'll be coming out very soon. So thank you for your time today.
Thanks very much. It was fun.